to reckon with an apocalypse no one saw coming. Chandler Kinney and Pierce Jones are back, too. Willa and Wyatt, the werewolf siblings, now leaders of a fragile alliance clinging to hope as night falls over Seabrook. But here's the twist. In Dawn of the Vampires, the spotlight shifts. The vampires, led by the magnetic and mysterious Valeria, played by newcomer Sofia Serrano, whose performance is already being whispered about in early Oscar circles, aren't just villains. They're the key to humanity's salvation. Serrano brings his regal, tragic presence to Valeria, a queen haunted by centuries of loss, torn between her monstrous hunger and the spark of hope she finds in Zed's desperate plea for unity. Let's not forget the rest. Returning favorites like Trevor Tordsman's Bucky and Carla Jeffries Bree, both with new arcs and surprisingly emotional payoffs. Even James Godfrey's Bonzo gets his moment in the sun. Well, the moon, anyway. And the supporting cast is rounded out with jaw-dropping talent, from the Broadway-trained Ethan Kim as vampire Prince Lucian to seasoned character actress Viola Young as the town's last human leader, Dr. Penelope Hart. Now, the budget. We're talking $85 million, nearly double the last entry. And you see every penny on the screen. Gone are the quaint high school gymnasiums and suburban sets. Instead, Kingsley and her team turn Seabrook into a mythic battleground, a city caught between the collapse of civilization and the rise of something older, darker, and strangely beautiful. The art department, led by the legendary Marta Russo, whose credits include Blade Runner 2049 and Crimson Peak, built entire blocks of ruined cityscape, interlaced with gothic vampire catacombs that seem to stretch into infinity. The production design alone is worth the price of admission. Box office? Let's just say the world was hungry for something this wild, this new. On opening weekend alone, Dawn of the Vampires shattered franchise records with a $96 million domestic haul, outselling every previous Zombies movie and breaking into the top 10 all-time openings for a supernatural film. Internationally, it found massive audiences not just in the US and Canada, but in South Korea, Brazil, and India, where the themes of community and otherness struck a deep chord. As of today, it's clocked in at $485 million globally, with critics calling it the blockbuster nobody saw coming. Awards? Oh, you better believe it. Even before the Oscars, it was scooping up critics' honors. Best Ensemble Cast at the Saturn Awards, Outstanding Production Design at the Golden Fawn Festival, and a Best Director nomination for Kingsley at the Hollywood Horror Guild. Sofia Serrano's Valeria, that performance alone, vulnerable, regal, terrifying, has made her an overnight sensation. There's talk of a spin-off series already in development. And yes, Milo Manheim and Meg Donnelly were nominated for Best On-Screen Duo by MTV. But this time, the emotional stakes are so much higher. But let's go behind the scenes for a moment, because that's where the real magic happened. The shoot itself was a logistical nightmare, in the best way. Filming took place over 104 nights in the storm-lashed city of New Orleans, chosen for its moody French Quarter, endless Gothic cemeteries, and labyrinthine underground tunnels, many of which hadn't been used since the 1800s. The production faced a real hurricane halfway through principal photography, forcing the cast and crew to bunk together in the very catacombs that became the vampires' lair on screen. The stories they tell about those nights, singing, sharing ghost stories, coming together in the darkness, echo in every emotional moment you see on film. There were controversies, sure. Some purists worried that introducing vampires would break this zombies formula, that the mix of horror and musical wouldn't gel. There was even a minor Twitter war after early concept art leaked, showing a much darker, more violent tone than previous entries. But Kingsley was firm. This isn't just another sequel. This is where we find out what happens when all the outcasts have to fight for each other, not against each other. And when the first teaser dropped, just a single shot of Illyria's silhouette against the blood-red moon, the internet exploded. The hashtag Dawn of the Vampires trended for days. The gamble had paid off. Let's talk music. Oh, the music. They brought back composer John Paisano, who took the best elements of the previous films. The pop anthems, the defiant musical numbers, and blended them with haunting orchestral vampire themes. You've never heard a zombie score like this. Cellos wailing, choirs echoing through dark catacombs, all of it punctuated by raw, heartfelt ballads that will stick in your head for weeks. The soundtrack went viral on TikTok before the film even hit theaters, especially the power duet between Addison and Valeria, Night Belongs to Us, which shot to #1 on the global streaming charts. The cinematography, too, is something to behold. Shot by 3-time Oscar nominee Linus Sandgren, whose work on La La Land and No Time to Die redefined visual storytelling. The look of the